Shalom. Welcome to the Jewish Task Force JTF. My name is Chaim Ben Pesach. Hillary Sodom Clinton refuses to answer any questions and is playing both sides of every issue to the point where even Democrats, even her fellow leftists, are criticizing her and are saying, what is this evasiveness? What is this dodging of all of the issues? And of course, she's playing from the same game book as her husband, Bill Clinton. When Bill Clinton ran for president in 1992, he went to speak before a group of young people on television, and they asked him if he ever smoked marijuana. Now, he didn't want to sound like he's not cool, so he wanted to be able to say that he did smoke marijuana so that the MTV, he was on MTV, he was being interviewed by young people on MTV, so he wanted the MTV, the brainless people on MTV to think that he did smoke marijuana. But at the same time, he didn't want to offend people in middle America that don't like the idea of someone smoking marijuana. So he wanted to play both sides of the issue, and in one of the most notorious examples of what a two-faced, double-barrel, phony hypocrite the Clintons are, he said in his famous answer, "I smoked marijuana, but I didn't inhale." You know, in other words, he tried to have it both ways. He claimed that he smoked marijuana, but he never inhaled. How can you smoke if you don't inhale? And that became like a symbol of the type of two-faced hypocrisy of the Clintons. And now Hillary Sodom Clinton is doing this on every single issue. She's dodging every issue. She claims that she opposes the Iraq war, but she voted to give President Bush the full authority to go to war. She claims that she wants to end the Iraq war, but when Tim Russert of NBC News asked her in the recent New Hampshire debate if she would promise to pull U.S. troops out by the year 2013, we're now in 2007, 6 years from now, she said she would not promise to pull troops out 6 years from now. That's ending the war? She also said that she believes that we have to continue combat missions in Iraq. And even her fellow Democrats said, combat missions? I thought you said you wanted to end the war. Combat missions means the war is continuing. So she's playing both sides of the Iraq war. She says she wants to end the war, but she wants to continue combat missions. She said she wants to start pulling some troops out, but she wants to keep troops in. Even in 2013, she won't promise to get the troops out by 2013. Or any time after. So she's playing games. She's playing both sides of the issues. She's always been a phony and a hypocrite. And this is just another example. And even other Democrats have been accusing her of this. Even left-wing columnists have been criticizing her. And have been saying, wow, what type of answer is this on every single question she had in the recent debate in New Hampshire, on every single question. She dodged the issue, evaded the issue, or took both sides of the issue on every single question that she was asked by Tim Russert from NBC News. On Social Security, she was the only candidate out of 8 Democrat candidates, running for the Democrat presidential nomination next year. All 7 answered the question, do you favor raising Social Security or extending Social Security taxes for wealthy Americans in order to help pay for Social Security benefits into the future? That was the question. All 7 candidates answered it one way or the other. She refused to answer. She said that is going to interfere with the negotiations that we're going to be having, because we're going to have negotiations on this issue, and I don't want to tip my hand in negotiations. What, is she kidding? When you're running for president, you've got to give the voters an idea of where you stand. What's your philosophy? What direction do you want to take? What is your view? Do you favor raising taxes on wealthy people because of Social Security? Do you favor cutting benefits? Or do you favor cutting back on the program? How will you deal with the program? She refused to answer. Tim Russert gave her a number of opportunities and asked her repeatedly. She refused to answer. She was the only one of the 8 candidates who refused to answer, stubbornly refused to answer. And finally, Delaware Senator Joe Biden, one of her opponents, said, this is not, what type of thing is this? A president has to lead. A president doesn't dodge and evade like this. And other Democrats have been saying, what type of answer is this? What type of candidate for president is this? She has taken both sides on every single issue. She condemned Barack Hussein Obama for saying that he would meet with the dictators of Iran and North Korea and Venezuela, even though she herself said the same thing only a few months earlier in another interview. She said in the New York Daily News that she would support torture of Muslim terrorists. If Muslim terrorists had information, had hot information that could lead to the prevention of a terrorist attack, she said she would support using torture on the Muslim terrorists to get the information out of them, she said to the New York Daily News. But in the New Hampshire debate, she said she's against torture under any circumstances. And she claimed that that was always her position. That's consistently her position. In other words, she completely, flat out changed her position, lied about her position in the past, and took the opposite position that she took in the interview with the New York Daily News on the question of torture. Now, we have a situation here where you're going to have a president that every word out of her mouth you will not be able to trust. She is such a habitual liar. There is not one word that will come out of her mouth that you will be able to trust. And this is very dangerous at a time like this. Because we can't trust, if we can't trust the leader of the United States, the commander-in-chief of the U.S. Armed Forces, the leader of the free world, the most powerful person on the face of the earth at a time when we're facing the danger of a Muslim terrorist nuclear attack and Muslim terrorist nuclear holocaust because Iran is building nuclear weapons and intends to use them if, God forbid, they get their hands on nuclear weapons. They're going to use them against us. We have to stop Iran at all costs from getting nuclear weapons, which Hillary Clinton will not stop them, of course. But in a time like this, when we're facing such grave threats to our very survival, when there are 1.5 billion Muslims out there that want to destroy the United States, we're facing tremendous threats to our national security and survival. People believe in a religion that in the Quran and the Hadith preach the destruction of America. We urgently need a program for energy independence to stop our addiction to oil, which is feeding the Muslim terrorists and enabling them to do what they're doing to us. And endangering all of our lives, literally endangering all of our lives. And if we're going to have Hillary Clinton with her double talk, her opportunism, her evasiveness, her refusal to take a stand on the issues, the games that she's playing, if this is what we're going to have in the White House, we're in great danger. We're in great danger. The very survival of America will be put in mortal peril if someone like this is in the White House. And even fellow Democrats have started to criticize her on this. Even fellow Democrats. Now, I don't know in November if they're going to turn next November 2008, maybe by then they'll turn a blind eye to it because they're so anxious to defeat the Republicans. But even fellow Democrats have been saying that this is just going too far. Tim Russert himself, who is a longtime left-wing Democrat, who worked for Tip O'Neill and who worked for Pat Moynihan, who worked for extreme left-wing Democrats, he has been saying that she's evasive. And other left-wing Democrats have also been saying this is just unbelievable. You can't get a straight answer out of this woman. Is this who you want to see in the White House? Don't you understand how dangerous it is to put somebody like this in the White House? Someone who won't even give you a straight answer? I mean, whether you agree or disagree with the other candidates, and I happen not to like any of the candidates, almost all of the candidates running, I can't stand any of them. But whether you agree or disagree, this is the worst of all possible worlds. When you can't even get a straight answer or get a candidate that takes two sides of every single issue, that's the worst possibility. I mean, whether I agree or disagree, at least I want somebody to tell me where they stand. I want to know where I stand and where they stand and if I can oppose them or try to do something about it or protest. But having a candidate who stands for everything to please everybody and takes every stand and lies every minute to everybody and says different things to different people all the time. Having someone that does this on every single issue and that has done this all of her life, to put her in the White House, this is insane. This is insane. This is not a candidate for president. This is a whore, an opportunist, a lying cheat. We've got to defeat her. And the Jewish Task Force, JTF, wants to expose her. Join with us and help us to do it. You don't have to be Jewish to join JTF. It's Jewish Task Force because it was formed by Jews, but the majority of our members are not Jews. So everybody, every decent person who wants decency, wants to make this a better world, is free to join us. You see the address of our website. Here's the address of our forum. Join with us and help us turn the tide before it's too late. Shalom.